Do you know the phrase that says a woman is not even beaten or hit, even with a rose petal? Well, that's the topic or issue that I want to talk to you about. Hi, my name is Ana Gabriela Barbosa, and I want to talk to you about discrimination against women. Well, my research topic that I want to talk about is discrimination against women in a workplace, especially in Mexico from the years 2014 and 2019. And an ethical dilemma that can be shown in this type of cases or this type of research topic is that the dilemma would be what would the woman choose or the victim would choose to do in order to be safe. Well, she would stay in her workplace where she is being treated different or being discriminated because she's a woman, or she will get out of the place and fight for for the rights that she as a woman has, and that everyone has the same rights no matter who you are, what do you like, or where do you live. Everyone has the same human rights, and everyone obtains their human rights once they are born. That is something that no matter who you are, everyone has it once you are born. I wanted to talk about this dilemma and this research topic because it's very important for me that for future generations understand what are the things, and present generations, what are the things that me as a woman have to fight in order to be considered in any place, in school, with your friends, with your family, and also in a workplace. It's something that has been fighting constantly through years in order for women to feel safe in a workplace and not being discriminated, not being sexually assaulted, not being anything. Everyone must understand that every single person, no matter your race, no matter your sex, has human rights. So I'm very passionate about this topic because I consider myself that I like to talk and fight for human rights of each person, since everyone is something like for me is very outstanding and impressive that everyone has the same human rights. So in my personal opinion, I want to show and explain what are things that us as women need to fight and be able to continue with our life and not being scared of things that could happen to us even in a workplace. So that's why I wanted to express or talk about this dilemma or this research topic because I feel like I can give a voice to all that women that really are fighting for their rights and that they want to be treated equally, no matter where they are. As I mentioned before, the dilemma will be that what should a woman do when it's being discriminated in a workplace in Mexico, especially from the years 2014 and 2019, or any year. What should they do? Should they stay in the company or they should go and fight for their rights? Well, a professional that is related to my pop, it's a lawyer. Since I'm in pop humanities, basically it consists of future lawyers. So the way this can connect or relate to the dilemma that is happening is that lawyers are the ones who will decide the best solution for the victim or for the person that hires them in order to defend them. Or another example that can be used in order to verify and to justify that lawyers do really create an impact in making this type of ethical decisions or ethical dilemmas is that there was a case of a woman called Hannah that in 2013 she used to work in a company, in a mining group company with about like 1,300 of employees, and she was one out of two women that work in there. So basically all of them were men, and only like her and two more, or her and another one, were woman. So she received a lot of discriminatory comments from their superiors and from their colleagues, and she received sexual harassment. And they told her a lot that she didn't have to work in there because it was a job for only men, for strong men, etc. The victim of the problem who is having issues with someone that she feels that she's being discriminated, or the accused, which is the person that is doing discrimination to a woman in a workplace. And also the people that may have an opinion are the lawyers, the owners of the company, and the office of the lawyers who will be hired in order to defend the side of the woman or defend the side of the company. And also there's an organization called CONAPRED, which is the Comisión Nacional de Prevención de Discriminación, and he could also have an ethical opinion about what's going on, what they can do, etc. And also the company that's being affected, or where the circumstance or the issue is happening. The way that this type of ethical dilemma issues can be seen in a global environment is that there was a case in 2016 that a woman called Meserete Kumuchu was accused of falsifying documents of a company called Starbucks. This case occurred in London. So, thanks to this accusation, she started to have suicidal thoughts. She was asked to change her position in the workplace company. Instead of having a higher position, she was moved to a lower position. And they asked her to start everything, every process again, like if she was a new worker in that company. So basically, she was being discriminated because she had dyslexia. And when somebody has dyslexia, means that they sometimes may confuse letters or numbers, but basically letters, since it's when people are not able to difference letters or sentences or order of words. So she had she was treated in a really bad way only because she had this disability. It can clearly see in this case an example of how this dilemma can be seen in a global environment. So basically, this is a case that can be verified and justified that global issues like this, or global ethical dilemmas like this, do happen in other places. Like in this case, this happened in London in 2016. Another example that can help us justify and verify that these ethical dilemmas do happen in our local community, which is Mexico, is that in April 2017 there was a case of a woman that was fired of her job because she was having an VIF, which is a filtration when someone, in case this woman wasn't able to get pregnant, so she started to get in some filtrations and injections and a lot of stuff in order to be able to get pregnant. So because she was doing this procedure, she was fired. So this case reached the Supreme Court, and they finally heard her voice, and they helped her in order to get her job back, and she did. So all the accusation and the order that they gave her in order to get fired of the job, it was rejected. It was null. So she got into her job again. So in order to help you guys understand a little bit better about this ethical dilemma that is happening and to know other ways that it can affect people and other type of opinions. We're gonna talk right up next with our blogger and newest lawyer Stephanie, where she will tell us more about this dilemma in order to understand a little bit better and things that are very important to know. Hi guys, welcome to my blog today with me, your host, lawyer Stephanie, that will talk about what is the impact that this ethical dilemma that was mentioned before has caused in a lot of our communities. According to my sources, there have been a lot of ways that this can be verified. Example of this can be the protests that had been established or have been done in Mexico in the year 2019 and also in the year 2020. 2019 were a lot of protests of Mexican women that were trying to fight for women's rights in order to be treated equally and in order to also stop the killing of innocent women because of their race, because only if they were women they will be killed. So this can be a huge example of how the community has been acted or acts to these cases when a lot of discrimination against women can be seen, where it reaches a limit that it has caused a lot of protests in a lot of parts of the world, especially in Mexico nowadays. Well, guys, as I just mentioned before, this is a huge example about a way that discrimination and all these things that have happened through years had created an impact in the community. And it's very important to realize that every action that we do has a consequence or has a reaction. So it's very important to stop discrimination in a workplace in order to start believing in women and women to start being or feel safe in a workplace, and not only in their workplace, they need to feel safe in their house, in their streets, in any place they need to be, and they need to be treated equally. So thanks guys so much for joining in my blog of today, and hope you liked my opinion and all the information that I gave you about what is happening and the way that the community can react when discrimination is being seen. So thank you guys, and let's get to back with my co-worker Anna. Thank you, Stephanie, for giving us this huge blog in order to understand a little bit more how communities have react to any ethical or to any discrimination that women have experienced in a workplace or in any area. And also, it's very important for women to feel safe and to be treated equally, no matter who they are, no matter what they are, or where they are going. They need to be treated equally in their house, in school, and in a workplace, in any place, in order to be and feel safe. Finally, and last but not least, I want to show you some charts that gives you more information, and it can verify and you can see all the information about the woman that feel that they have been treated this in a discriminatory way in their workplace. So it's very important to consider these numbers in order to stop and realize that a lot of women are actually being discriminated and they are being treated different only because they're a woman in a place where it's surrounded by men. In this chart, you can see that only about a third of men and women say their workplace is balanced in terms of gender. You can see in the number of among women and more women than men, it's a very large number, which is 48, a difference of 19, which is the number of men. In this other chart, you can see that women have experienced, or they say they have experienced discrimination at work, and it all depends in where they are located or what area of work they receive, and it's a very huge difference. So guys, hope these numbers and statistics can help you realize all the impact and address the impact that this dilemma has caused in a lot of women and the discrimination among women in a workplace, where sometimes they don't even say what is going on and they stay in there, or sometimes they might say what is going on and they fight for their rights.